Hello and welcome to Homer for Saturday, March 15th, 2025. What a beautiful day outside. Anyway, I hope it's beautiful where you are. Let's get started. Ton de takam pipulas somatos kai duo posorore. Porgon balom en non ton de lison togerontes. Aitolon pempon de teon hiereias aristus. Exa thenke amuna o poscomenoi megadoron. O pote pio teton pedion caludonos araneis. Enta mineno gagon temenos pericale celestai. Pente kento guon tomen hemisun oino pedoio. Hemisu depsi lein arosin pedioio temestai. Pola de min lite neo geron i bela de oenus. Oenos. O du pemba babos upsere beos talamoio. Seion coletas sanidas numenos huion. Pole te ton kai signe tai kai potnia meter. Elison te maluna naine to pola de tairoi. Hoi ken no te toi kai piota to eisan hapanton. Al hudhos tuo tumon anistetes sine peton. Pringo te talamos pucabada totoi de pipurgon. Bainon curetes cae nepreton megastu. All right, excellent. Okay, so sorry for the split page here, but also sorry the English just isn't working. So for all those who don't read read the Greek at sight, I'm sorry. It's hiding. It won't show up. This is a very old website, so that's life. But luckily, this is a great challenge. It's time to translate it completely by ourselves, word for word. Let's do it. So, of these, basically quickly, there was lots of noise and shouting. A din rose up by the walls that they were fighting against. Right. This was very quickly. Tacham pulas against the walls. Ton, purgon ba lomenon. These men were doing these things. An ton de lison togeron tesai tolon. And the old men of the Aetolians were beseeching him. Pempon de teon hiereias aristus. They sent the best hierats, so hieratics, the best priests to him. Exelten kaiamune poscomenoi megadoron. They sent them to him such that they might appeal to him and promise him, hupeko, great gifts, a great gift, that wherever he wanted, he could have in the land of Caledon. This is the fat land of Caledon, right? I guess it's like woolly land. We just don't have any vocabulary, but that's okay. Anyway, but there, he could choose he's ordered to take. They ordered him to take a beautiful part of the Temenos, right, of the held area, right, and it was going to be 50 acres about, right, Pentekan Toguon, and it's going to be half winery and it's going to be half wooded, and it is, this is going to be cut away from the rest, just for the purposes of Arosin, which is, I believe this is like farming of some sort, but, farmland, basically. Psilan. Not entirely sure about this definition, but anyway, we'll have to, we'll have to punt on that one, but we have two halves to the land coin here. And let's continue on here to the actual interesting part, in my opinion. So anyway, his father very much beseeched him, right? And he was standing, epimbebaos, right? So he was standingly outside his front door, right? And this is the highly, the sort of like tall jointed or like tall roofed thalamos, right? Which is like inner room. And he was knocking on the well-built planks, right? Beseeching on his knees his son, right? Very much so also, dege here, our particles doing a lot of work. Even still, pola were his sisters, kasignetai, his relatives that are sisters or female, and as well his beloved mother, potnia meter, also beseeching him, sort of, elisont, basically begging. But he really, really turned away from them, holde malon, but, so much more so did he shun them. And also, pole de hetairoi, many of his comrades, his friends, who were most dear to him, ked notatoi, and most beloved to him of all, right? But alud hos, but nonetheless, it was not ud to of his tumon and istethesin spirit in his chest was convinced epeithon, right? And he wasn't convinced before the point when they were thick around the thalamos, right? This inner room, his chamber, and they were at the city walls, and they were climbing the kuretes, and they were filling up on epeithon. They were going up, they were sort of rising up the walls of the great city. Anyway, okay, so that's our sort of rough translation there. If you want to ask, why is this important, or why, we've for the past couple of days we've been dealing with Meleager, right? The myth of Meleager. It's a very important myth because it's pre-Homeric, right? So it shows up before Homer, and Homer is already, a good 2,600 at least, years old. Probably more around, 3,000, right? These myths are very old already. 3,200, I think, is definite, from the earliest periods of depictions of Homeric warriors. But the tales, these sort of myths, for instance, the story of Meleager, who, he is very angry at his family, right? His mother, and this other stuff that, like, he decides to hold off from battle, right? And this is really, really bad because then the kuretes, right, are literally just like storming his city. They're at his door, right? And obviously the metaphor here, right, is that Achilles is doing the same thing. And it's all about the wrath, right? It's about Meleager's wrath, right? He's very, very angry, and he's withholding from battle, which is, of course, exactly what Achilles is doing too, which is why Phoenix is recounting the story. But there are several key differences in the Greek telling of the myth, or the Homeric Greek telling of the myth, than other forms of the myth. That you see here a little bit, right? I mean, the familial consequences of what's going on is very important. It's not just dissension within the community, which is a very common thing in the Meleager myth, but also dissension among his family, right? Which becomes a very good lodestone for thinking about how to design tragic works. And we really do have a tragedy here, right? Where, things are going to, like, they will knock down the walls, right? The metaphoric walls, the allegorical walls of, the city that, Meleager is holed up in, right? And as well, the real wall that, Achilles and all the Greeks are hiding behind, which, as can never be iterated enough, tomorrow is the day in which they will be toppled by the Trojans. Anyway, we shall see if that will happen, and we will also see the exciting conclusion to the Meleager myth. Thank you so much for listening, and I will catch you tomorrow. Thanks, and have a great day.